Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome to another Brown Chair Chat. So, thank you all for watching the other one. A lot of you watched it. Lots of comments on it, and some questions I will have to answer regarding that. I'm glad that you guys are interested, and again, take what I have to say, with a grain of salt. Either it resonates with you or it doesn't. I'm not trying to prove anything to you or try to convince you of anything. That's not my job. Okay, I am here for my mission, and my mission is to get out this information. I have several different missions. As we know, the entities have portals, but this is also about getting the information forward that the universe wants to be brought out to the open. And I think a lot of people, first of all, we're asking about the angelic thing, the angels, people call me Earth Angel. I had a meditation that I was, an angel with wings. You got to remember this, angels come to particular humanoids, especially earthlings, as something that you will understand. So they come to you looking more, if they do come involved, if you ever do see them, and they do come in a wide variety. Sometimes they'll be spheres of light, but and remember, these are holograms that they're projecting, that they're going to come as something maybe that you will understand. And of course in the book of angels, in the Bible rather, there's a talk of angels and basically how they kind of look. But that isn't really an accurate description of them either, because remember, it's just spirits, just energy. So the angels and spirit guides are going to come. The spirit guides that have not ever had a form before are going to come to you as something you understand. Okay, first of all, because again, we're not the only species in the entire universe. So just so you understand that. Not everyone, like I said, not everyone is an actual angelic, and I'm using the term angelic rather than earth angel, because earth angel could really be used for pretty much every light worker that's here, because you're all ambassadors to the angelic world, to help this ascension, to move things forward, to work and live in the light. So in that essence, yes, you're all earth angels. But it's a term that it's very loose, and that's why I wanted to distinguish that, because there's only about almost 5,000 angelics here. I don't know the exact number, and I should get that. I do know exactly how many vibrational levels there are, but I need to get the other, because numbers are very important to the universe. It's like everything is kind of a mathematical formulas as well. And that plays in with words and whatnot, because words and language, but especially mathematics. It's one of the reasons why, when we send stuff out in space, we also are using mathematics, because it's kind of a, I would say like known, but there's another word I'm looking for and I can't think of it. It's an absolute, basically, mathematics, because every species will understand at a certain point some kind of form of mathematics. And so that's kind of how, communication would begin. And so I will find out that number later, but people have said, "Oh, am I an earth angel?" Whatnot. Most of you are not. Most of you are ambassadors, like I said. So, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's just absolutely wonderful. We're all here to do our particular jobs. I didn't would have never even thought about anything of this sort ever happening, or that I would be this or whatnot. And people are also like, "Well, how did you know?" And first of all, my guides speak to me in a variety of different ways. Sometimes it's through meditations, and we're going to talk about that as well. Through downloads, and we all get downloads. Sometimes they're the ideas that you have, or something, sort of an idea comes in your head, and you have to explore it, and maybe start doing some research or asking questions. So they do that with me. They've done it a variety of different times. If they want something to sort of be communicated, they'll drop the idea into my mind, and I'll be like, where did that come from? You're doing something else, and suddenly this idea comes into your mind. And that's basically what it was. And it was, talking about the angels, and because I already know I had Santa Morta, who's the angel of death, as one of my wingmen, and then Tykel, who who handles the karma and dharma, who's not an angel actually. So it kind of started with that, and it was knowing that I had been with those entities for a very long time, and it sort of started the conversation in that way of that you are an angel, like you are one of us, like, you know, at least with Santa Morta, because Takel is not. And I was like, oh, okay. And so then we had that conversation. And then, of course, I started asking about more. Like, I mean, you know, are there more of us down here? How many of us are there? Like, and then, you know, and this also explained one of the reasons why I have 3 Merkabas, because the Merkaba, you're only supposed to have 1 per person. If you know what a Merkaba is, I said, or don't know, I suggest you should Google it. We can talk about that later. But, you know, it's Merkaba can be used as energy force and whatnot. Every human has 1, usually just 1. But I had 3, my James, and basically you can activate yours just by thinking about it. And so you activate them. And you'll most likely know you've activated it because you'll dream about it, or it'll be a sense of something there. And I had 3, and I was like, why do I have 3 Merkabas? I mean, like, that's so bizarre. I've never heard. I did the research. So I was like looking to see if anybody had 3 Merkabas. And it was because I was basically an ambassador for other species before. So one is angelic, the other one was Arcturian and dragon, which is another actually species name, which I have written down somewhere, but I can never remember it at this point. So when I leave, when I finish this mission here, I will also get like another Merkaba, like an Earth Merkaba. It's almost like a badge kind of thing. Think of it as a badge. Like you've done this work, and now you sort of get, like it's Boy Scouts, you get a merit badge kind of thing. And you do rack up sort of things like that when you are, you know, getting your dharma. You know, when you do something right, you do get like a spiritual recognition for these things, and you may get those recognitions in the material world as well. Of course, you may get it through, you know, more income, through beautiful family members. And when I mean beautiful families, like everyone, like you love your families, like there's no fighting, too much fighting. It's like, it works well. Your soul tribes, like a beautiful, being loved, basically, being accepted, getting a lot of abundance. Again, it could be money, it could be love, it could be a wide variety of things. Having children, you know, very healthy children, like all that is blessings upon you. From the universe for like following, you know, your path, maybe not in this time, but maybe in another time. But, and then you get this sort of spiritual recognition too, like as your soul wants to learn all of these things, like because the universe wants to see everything through an individual sense, to experience everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that is kind of, you know, why a lot of people are down here. You know, the light workers are here, of course, now to help this ascension. So some of you may not be from this earth, but a lot of you will be, and it's just going to depend. And how you're going to find this out, you know, we're going to talk about meditation. It's like talking to your spirit guides, first of all. We all have them, and, you know, it's about, one's always a guardian angel. And again, that guardian angel is not always necessarily an angel. Again, and sort of an ambassadorship, because I had to ask that as well. So they're doing the job of, again, helping out where they can to sort of keep you out of harm's way. But there is always an archangel or an angel above that to sort of oversee things, to oversee your particular soul guides. Mine was Metatron for a while, now it's just the universe. So, you know, and so that the universe sort of manages my guides and me, and then I have my legion, which is I'm one of 7 here, and I know the two others, and I just the other 4 will no doubt you know, make themselves known at some point. But you're all here to do the work. There's no, you know, it's like, don't let the ego in that overtake, well, you know, and then there is ego too with this stuff too, because like, you know, well, why can't I do what he can do or she can do? You know, she has mediumship, or why can't I talk to my guides this way? Or why am I not seeing things, or what it is? We're all here to do our own particular parts. Don't let the ego aside, let that go. Remember, you're here on a mission. You know, you're here to enlighten the masses. And I'm assuming most of you are probably light workers listening to me. And if you aren't, if you're not a light worker and you're supposed to be learning your lessons still and be able to move forward in life to also help with this ascension. Okay, so there is, let the ego aside. And I know sometimes there is ego with this because people, want certain things and want to be looked at, well, I've got this or that. It's like, that is the ego talking, and that's one thing that definitely has to be dropped. You have to let the ego go. And it's knowing that everyone's got their special abilities. Everyone has got their own particular things, why they're here, who they are, what they've done in previous lives, what they're doing in this life. It's really just thinking about the mission, like what you're here to do, okay? And remember, talking to your guides, you need to start talking to them. This is a free will world, and as such, they can't help you unless you ask. You have to ask. When you ask, they'll do it through synchronicities, through different people, through things that you might be reading. There may be aha moments, through same numbers appearing over and over again. And if you catch that, that's also part of your downloads as well. It's like, you may not know that, but it's kind of a soul download. Your soul's getting it. We're all getting downloads all the time. We've been getting a lot of downloads, all of humanity. Different, downloads may be different for everybody, but there is basically been upgrading, trying to upgrade everybody. And of course, that means if the person's going to, try to listen, and that's what the guides are there also to help do, is help push them along, to sort of wake them up, to get in, to do something in the right venue. So when you start asking your guides, they will help you. They will bring in the people and places you need. Now, does it happen, boom, like that? No, most things don't happen in this particular dimension because it's very thick down here. It's very heavy. It's like walking in quicksand. It's the best way to put it. It's like trying to walk in quicksand here. This is how dense this reality is. So things don't come like that, and humans are not ready for that anyway. Because if you could think about something and just receive it, it would be a disaster right now. Humanity's not ready for that. That's farther along. That could, it'll be much easier. But that would have to be letting go of ego and everything else, and just really being very pure of mind and heart to be able to get those things that you want. But when you get to that stage anyway, you're not going to want probably the same things you wanted before. So it's a very different outlook. Like, you're probably going to want more love in the world as opposed to like getting the shiny new car or something of that sort. So your perspectives shift as you continue to heal. So which is a big important part of all this. So you also can do this through meditation as well. Like I used crystal singing bowls to help open your chakras. You can get it on YouTube. Just look on YouTube and you'll see plenty of crystal singing bowls. You can just play it while you're meditating. And everybody's, a lot of people say to me, well, I don't know how to meditate or don't meditate because they think that they have to clear their mind and go the entire time. No. What I'd rather you do, because most people can't do that, and that's why the reason why they don't meditate, is because they can't clear their mind and they figure, oh my God, I'm not meditating, I'm a failure at this. No. First of all, meditation, I want you to start doing your affirmations. Your affirmations, I have my little cheat sheet here. Affirmations, gratitude, letting go, and forgiveness. And the affirmation is about how and what you want in your life. Picture your new partner, whether it be business or love, how much money you want in the bank, your new job, whatever it may be. And I want you to thank the universe for it as it is here in the present. Like you already have all these things. Like you have them. Thank you for my beautiful brand new partner. He's so honest, he's so forthright, he's sexy, thank you so much. And that it's already here in the present, because I don't want you wishing or wanting. Again, this is, the law of attraction, but it goes a little bit deeper than the law of attraction. As you're asking for these things, you got to remember that they also have to line up with what your soul contract was already there, what the universe and you already had in mind. Like if you want a Lamborghini, let's say, I'm just throwing it out there, and that wasn't in your cards to begin with, then you're probably not going to get the Lamborghini, but you might get, I don't know, the Lexus. You know what I mean? It's like, and so that's where people fail with the law of attraction, because well, I didn't get that job, or I didn't get that. Well, because it wasn't lined up with, what your contract was and such thing. And it's also remembering that there's nothing wrong with the Lexus either. So, it's like, it's also, remembering those things too. It's like, you have this abundance already. So lining up for what is meant for you. And you'll know too, because if you get a job or something that you think was the right one, and or trying to get a job rather, and it's just like constantly door shut, door shut, door shut. And don't get me wrong, we have to work at things, and there will always be a little bit of a struggle, but it shouldn't be like, constant things thrown in your face to block you. That's the universe saying, maybe you should look in a different direction, or maybe you should go over here. Think a little bit outside the box. So affirmation, as these things are now here with you, giving gratitude toward them, will go a long way. And that opens the communication to the universe to bring you what you want. But you have to do it. It's a process. And you have to, bring this towards you. I'm also going to say also letting go of the ego. And I'll mention that as well before I get into this, because it's not on my paper. It's very important. Letting go of the ego. The ego is the thing that has protected you since you were a child. We all developed one to protect ourselves. And it's something that it also acts as that voice in your head that tells you you're not pretty enough, you're not handsome enough, you're not smart enough, this will never happen, that'll never happen, blah, blah, blah. I'm jealous of her, blah, or him, blah, blah, blah. That is the ego speaking. And when that rears its head, you must catch it. Catch those thoughts and say, okay, ego, get out of the room. The adults are here. You literally have to identify it as a separate entity unto itself, because it really kind of is. You need to say, no, you go away, and then start reaffirming what, whatever it was saying. Oh, you're too unattractive. No, saying I'm actually very attractive, and I'm a good catch. Whatever it may be that the ego is telling you, do the reverse of. And so letting that go, but you got to catch it, because it is, man, it'll sneak into your head and start chit-chatting again. You got to keep catching it. You got to keep telling it out of the room, and it will work, but it will be a process. You'll have to work on this, letting it go, catching it, and it's sneaky. Oh, it comes in, it's sneaky, and then if it's still being persistent, is there's a good thing also that I've told people too, is if you record your own voice of whatever the ego is telling you the opposite of, say, oh, I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. That's the ego speaking. You make a recording of yourself. I am perfectly well in my skin. I love myself. I can do this. I can do that. I am a good catch, whatever it may be. To affirmations for yourself. I want you to play that every night, very lightly, in the background, so that your subconscious hears it and starts rewiring your brain. This way it's also in your own voice, so it'll be much easier for your subconscious to catch it. And that way, in 30 days, and this has been studied as well in psychology and whatnot, it will help to turn that around if the ego is really persistent. And this way it'll help to get that out of your mind and start living your true life, your true essence of who you are. So very important to catch that, and very important to work on that. Gratitude, of course, very important, which I said, and even gratitude, not even just in your meditations. I remember my grandfather used to say prayer every time we had dinner. And my parents didn't quite do it as much, because they weren't quite as, Catholic, Roman Catholic, but my grandfather did. It was a big thing. And of course, as a kid, you're trying to say these prayers, and you're just whatever. Now I realize that it's really important, because it's also giving gratitude to the universe, so that you get more of this. You get more of the abundance of the food and sustenance that supports the body. But it's also changing the energy of the food. And you can do this. It's like a home cooked meal is much better energetically than, say, someone slapping a burger joint, burger around. That doesn't account for like a high end restaurant or something, because usually those chefs are very passionate about what they do. Not everyone, but they are usually passionate about what they do. So they're putting a lot of energy and time and love into what they do. That's the important thing. It's the energy of love. It's the energy of caring about it. So when your grandmother or mother made a beautiful dinner and they had that was an energy of love in that food. And that can be very easily documented if you look at one of the Japanese scientists that did the study on just H2O. He would take 2 vials of regular water. One, he just said, I love you, I love you, I love you, you're beautiful. And the other one, he said, you're ugly, you're awful, and that. And he froze both. This one froze into beautiful crystals. The other one was a wreck. And so that's just the energy of your intent. So it's really, really powerful to give gratitude, not just when, for the food, but for everything, just for the roof over your head, for, whatever. And if you have a lousy Subaru, be thankful for the lousy Subaru. It's like, and I mean like, Subarus are bad. I mean like if you have like a broken down, like old Subaru, and I'm just mentioned a car brand, but like be thankful that you have a vehicle to get you to work. Do you know what I mean? And so this way the universe will be able to work with you in getting you something new. And that will be the affirmations that you will do. Like, your universe, I love this new car that you got me. It works better, blah, 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 whatever it may be, to get you that affirmation, because the universe is already wanting to work with you, wants to work with you. Letting go of things that no longer serve you during your meditation, or it's usually better for the meditation, but it can work anytime. People, places, things, ideas, emotions, whatever does not work for you currently, you gotta let it go. You can't hold on to things that are no longer valuable to you, spiritually. And these things, it opens up the door for more things to come in, newer things to come in, better things to come in, and not hold on to these things that just aren't serving you anymore. Maybe they did in the past, but they no longer do. So it's just like, telling the universe to remove them from your life, what doesn't work, to bring you in the new, what really works for you, what would be beneficial for you. So forgiveness is also going to be a key here as well. Forgiveness can be very difficult for people. First of all, it's also forgiving yourself for the things that you may have done in your life. No one's perfect. We're all human. And trust me, I've done some things in my life that I wasn't exactly proud of. You got to be able to forgive yourself. Okay? And that can be really hard for people, because I've read for alcoholics and meth abusers and everything else. And those people don't believe that they're worthy of it. They have a hard time looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. And that's really important to do, because you have to love yourself. You really do. And I don't mean in this egotistical, narcissistic way. You got to love yourself. You got to love yourself. It's really important. But forgiveness is also about people that wronged you, your parents, your friends, backstabbed you, anybody really that may have crossed your paths and did something awful to you. And some of these things may be really seriously awful. People have been raped, people have been, abused as children, people, I have one friend whose brother was shot, and he's got to forgive those people. It's hard. It can be very difficult, but it's not for them. It's for you. And you don't have to call them up or get face to face with them. No, you do this energetically. You forgive them in your heart. You send them love. It's the highest vibration, because it's not about them. It's about you. You hold on to that hatred, that unforgiveness, you weighing yourself down like an anchor. And there you cannot find the light. You will be held down. And I know that's a really hard thing, is to let go and forgive, especially some of the things, the atrocities that people have done. But it's so important that you do. So important you do. That's like that. That's a big. If you can get past some of those things and love yourself, honey, you've healed a lot. Like I'm just saying, you've done quite a bit. That's a huge undertaking. It really is. But so important to do. I can't stress that enough. So important to do. So do that. And when you first do it, you may not believe it. the words just may come out, or it may be in your mind that you say it, but you don't believe it. Well, you got to keep doing it. You got to keep saying it until you do believe it. Because as you continue to do this, the universe will start bringing in more light, more energy to you, and it will start opening up your heart chakra and everything else. That's why I like you to use the crystal singing bowls as well, or whatever other meditation you want. But I like the crystal singing bowls only because they do vibrate with the 7 chakras. And by the way, there are more than 7 chakras on you, so just so you know. But those are the 7 main ones. So it's important to open them up and get going, and especially with the third eye. I know I had blocked my third eye because some of the work I was doing. And when I was doing the third eye chakra singing bowl, I was actually I was having this intense, weird pain vibrational thing going on. And I was I contacted my guy at the time because I didn't know what was going on. And he's like, get a chevron amethyst, and put it on around your third eye. And I did that. It opened it up right up. That's why crystals can be helpful. A lot of people do use crystals for their meditation, whatnot, or have them around the house. They are good for a lot of people, especially starting with new energies, to help protect you, to help open up your energies, to help you open your chakras. They can do a wide variety of those things because each one has its own energetic signature. But you are not reliant on them either. Once you get to a certain point, once you take off the training wheels, because that's what they are, you do not need them. They're great to have around. They're very pretty and everything else. But once you get beyond a certain point and have done a lot of the work, you don't need the training wheels anymore. It's great to still have their energy in the house, yeah, but it's not, I don't want you becoming reliant on things that you do not need anymore. There is training reels. I'm talking to you now. I'm no guru. You can take the information I give you or not. But you can do this on your own. That's why I'm giving you this information to empower yourself. It's really important that everyone is starting to empower themselves. Don't get me wrong, therapy is great, but you shouldn't be, hanging with a therapist for years and years and years. Obviously you haven't learned anything. You're not doing the work. And sometimes that work is very hard, but just, the therapist can help you. But if it becomes years and years go by, you become sort of addicted to that person. You're never willing to take the training wheels off. So be careful of that, because it is really about empowering yourself, giving you the strength to make this headway. Because really, in essence, you're the one that has to do the work. No one else can do it for you. Each individual has to do their work. It's just the way it is. So I talked about the third eye meditation. Let me just see here. One of the things too, I did a radio recording with my friend Oliver, and I've done his podcast before on my tarot readings, and this time, and I'll post it when it's going to be out. I think it's going to be out September 7th, he said. And, because of the work I've done before, he's like, well, how do you, I'm sure people want to know, how do you, someone so sexual doing, adult content, and that, how do, a lot of people can't understand how sexuality and spirituality can go together. Well, we are sexual beings, and that it's important to understand that they're not mutually exclusive. You can be sexual and still be a divine person, still be working for the light. The only thing is just remember, it's 2 words, basically. Consenting adults. That's it. You're a consenting adult. Do whatever you want. The universe does not care. Have whatever kind of sex you want. The universe does not care. Consenting adults. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. The universe has seen all. It's done it all. It's it's been there. The universe isn't judging about that. Now, if you're going against someone's consent, if you're involving minors, then you got a problem. All right. But yeah, consenting adults, absolutely, go at it. So there is no problem with that. The universe has put sex here for a reason. It's yes, it is to procreate, but it's not the only reason. You know, sex is very strong. It's very binding for soulmates, for partnerships, even for friendships, because there are, you know, things like fuck buddies. So, you know, it's a binding and it's for pleasure. The universe does want you to have fun as well. Yes, you're here to learn lessons. Yes, you're here to work, but you're also here to have fun. Like, you got to remember that. It's like all part of this. You know, not being, you know, like everybody, you know, thinks that you, if it's spiritual, some way you got to be completely pious, or that, you know, like we think of priests that don't have sex, things like that. It's like, no, that's the wrong way to go. And first of all, the reason the priests don't have sex is because they didn't, the church did not want those people getting married and then having children and then sort of like this ruling class of like the popes and things like that. That's why they didn't want them to have sex, because they used to. Popes used to have sex. They used to have wives. If you go back, look at the history of the church, they did. So, but they do, you know, they don't. And, you know, rabbis and that, they don't do the same thing. But I'm just taking this as an idea, like, because a lot of people have a hard time meshing, you know, well, how can you be spiritual and sexual at the same time and do what you do? And, you know, you've put all that out there. It's like, yeah. And one of the reasons also too, it's like, did you really think this message was going to come from somebody like a priest or somebody who was pious? No. The angelics and people, like, we're average people. We're just people. It's showing you we have lives, we're humans, we do what we do, we make mistakes. That's it. It's like, don't put anybody up on a friggin' pedestal. You know, it's like, you are who you are. So, yeah, this whole pedestal thing is a little ridiculous. You know, no one puts anyone on a pedestal. No. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else they want me to say for right now. I think we've mentioned everything they wanted me to at this point. Is there anything else, guys? Nope, I think that's it. And we're actually at like half hour, so that's good. It's a good little chat. And we'll come back and we'll do another one when they want me to. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and you take care of yourself. And remember, if you do want a personal reading or any of my services, just hit me up on my email. All right. And I will talk to you guys later.